Hey everyone, welcome to Spicy Soup, the channel where we cover sociology and related topics. My name is Chad Seeger, and today we're going to be covering the topic of, sociology itself. So settle in as we cover and explore the concept that kicked off this channel in the first place. Human beings do countless things. We exhibit countless behaviors, and seemingly since the beginning of our existence, we've struggled to find out why. Why do we hurt each other? Why do we help each other? Why do we create? Why do we destroy? Why do we love? Why do we kill? Over the centuries, there have been many different fields that have attempted to answer this. Psychology studies the mind, neurology studies the brain, and astrology uses the stars to try to understand human behavior. Sociology also attempts to understand human behavior, but sociology studies human behavior through the lens of groups. That's to say, the groups that we're born into, live with, learn from, they all shape us in innumerable ways. And although these influences can be all around us, they can be very difficult to see. One of the recurring themes of Spicy Soup is that humans are group animals, with all its advantages and drawbacks. We've evolved to be part of groups. We're born into groups. In fact, it's one of the most fundamental aspects of humanity. So when looking for answers as to why we do things, it makes sense to look at the groups for which we belong. Humans form clans, cliques, crews, clubs, councils, covens, caravans, cabals, cities, caucuses, communes, camps, choirs, cadres, colleges, companies, and churches. And these are just some of the groups that start with just one letter of one of our languages. The point is, humans love forming groups and being part of groups. Even if you consider yourself an independent or even a loner, please know that there are online forums where people get together talk about being loners. What do we have now? Another group. One of the great things about sociology is how many different aspects of humanity it can help to explain. Economics, government, sex and gender, race and ethnicity, ideologies, crime and criminal justice, morals, ethics, media and communication, propaganda, sports, even gossip. And of course history, which is where the past can help explain the present. Again, all through the lens of groups. One of the humbling aspects of sociology is that there are forces that play a role in who we are, in what we believe, what we take for granted. These forces influence our norms, our values, our language, desires and aspirations, our fears and prejudices, our senses of humor. And these forces, as I said, can be all around us, yet nearly invisible. To help us see these forces, we have another concept of sociology, and that is culture. Think of it this way. If you are part of a soup and flavored by that soup, it can be difficult to see that there are in fact other soups out there. And different though they may be, they are just as real as your own. Unfortunately, here's where the culture is soup analogy breaks down. Because each of us is flavored by many cultures. They impact us as we mix, match, and combine until we eventually create our own. Identifying and acknowledging the cultures that affect us, with an eye towards understanding and hopefully improving outcomes, is the purpose and mission of sociology. Let's take a look at sociology in action. Let's talk about murder. Specifically, let's talk about reducing murder. If we'd like to reduce murder, we should probably start with the question, who or what causes murder? Common sense and intuition may point you in the direction of the murderer, the individual who committed the act. It can be viewed as an individual experience. But if we take a step back, a different picture starts to emerge. Let's take a look at the murder rates of a few cities around the world. Now, these cities have a similar number of people, around 1 million. Let's start with Hiroshima, Japan. Hiroshima has a very steady murder rate, which results in about 10 murders per year. Now, that's 10 tragedies to be sure, but is that a lot? If we take a step back and compare these numbers to a similarly sized city, say Dublin, Ireland, that number suddenly doubles, jumping to 20. The question is, are the babies born in Dublin just twice as bad as the babies born in Hiroshima? Or does something happen from birth to murder that increases the chances of there being a murder in the first place? That something is very often the groups with which a person associates, be it friends, family, or the larger society. Each group shares their flavor or culture with every individual that they come in contact with. Now, this type of analysis doesn't clear the individual of wrongdoing, but if your goal is to reduce murder rates within a community, viewing the groups and their murder rates can only help. Now let's take a look at comparing groups of different sizes, but it still should illustrate the point. This time, let's take a look at total prisoners of a few nations around the world. Sweden has around 10,000, Portugal 12,000, Paraguay has 18, Romania 24, Canada has 35, Spain 56, France has 78, the United Kingdom has 95, Vietnam has 133, Russia has 373, and coming in second is China with 1.6 million. However, topping the list is the United States with 1.8 million. Now, looking at these numbers, you may want to ask the question, are Americans inherently bad people prone to crime? Are we born with worse babies than other countries? Paraphrasing a former president of the United States when asked to explain our outlier status, when you give people freedom, you also give them freedom to commit crime. In some ways, this actually is an attempt at sociological perspective. It just happens to ignore data from countless free nations around the world that have nowhere near our incarceration rate. A simple step back in comparing groups, nations in this case, would have ruled out that extremely pessimistic explanation. The actual answer is long and complex, but we can safely rule out bad babies continually being born, and let's also rule out freedom. Remember though, sociology is not about assigning blame. It's about understanding, with a goal of improving our lives through analyzing the groups that affect us. I hope this video has helped you understand a little bit more about what sociology is, and how it can help humanity. Thank you for watching this episode of Spicy Soup. Leave a comment if you agree or disagree, would like to suggest future topics, or just to say hello. Like and subscribe if you like what you saw. My name is Chad Seeger, and I'll see you on the next episode of Spicy Soup.